Hi there. I am here today to present class number 2 for ECED395, Equity and Social Justice. I am going to share my screen with you. And here we go. You should see my screen now. All right, here we go. So this is class number 2 for Equity and Social Justice. I'm gonna start talking about diversity in school. It's the first thing that comes to mind when I bring up the topic about equity and social justice. I know we talked last class about what is social justice and what is equity, and those are two big topics, and it can be represented in so many different ways. We're gonna watch this quick YouTube video, and let's see what comes to mind when you say diversity in the classroom. All right.
In our classroom, we have a whole diverse group of students who come to us. I have the opportunity to really broaden their understanding so that when they step outside, they approach every situation, every person with an open mind, because the person that they see in front of the classroom, she's different.
Children, especially at this age, need positive role models. A lot of students come from single parent households. Maybe they don't have a male figure at home, and they need to look up to, especially the boys. Was an airplane real one?
And to see a successful minority teacher who's reflective of them, I think is a powerful message.
Teachers wear so many other hats. We're life coaches, we're counselors. We are father figures. We're all these different things because these are what our students need.
We need a clean area. It's not only about teaching students content and taking tests. It's about growth as a person.
All right. Now, my question is, how many hats do you wear as a teacher, right? Diversity in the classroom comes in so many shapes and forms, right? And we need to be aware of everything. And we also need to be open to noticing those little nuances of diversity that sometimes we're not really prepared, but they'll be there for us to notice. All right, so as we work during this quarter, we're going to be reading this book, Case Studies on Diversity and Social Justice in Education. And interestingly enough, this is one of the only books that I could find that actually relate to education in, like out there right now into 2020. It's really interesting to see how, there's not a lot of, publications out there. So I'm just wondering, why not? Like, what's missing? Why can't we talk about this, right? I think it's a hard topic. Talking about social justice is a hard topic, but we should attempt to bring this up in the classroom and teach our students to at least talk about this with others and be open to noticing. All right, so I found this great visual that I have in front of you. It's 10 ways to pursue excellence through equity. So what does equity look like in the classroom? So there's 10 little things right here that you can see. It says 10 ways to pursue excellence through equity. So the first way that Dr. Pedro Nogueira from UCLA kind of brought this to our attention was the challenge that the normalization of failure. So why is it that it's not okay to fail, right? So we could say it's okay to fail, and maybe that would bring more equity, right? Why not? Why do we have to have measures that are so strict? So students have to pass or fail. and we have to compare students. Maybe that's not the way to go about it. The second one is the one on the right here. Speak up for equity. Can we be advocates? Can we teach students to be advocates for others, for each other, for themselves? The third one is embrace immigrant students and their culture. And now this one is huge. I'm a huge advocate for immigrant families because I'm an immigrant myself. And I think that it is really hard to move from one place to another where you don't know anyone and where everything is different, the language is different, and the, you know, things are all different, and the customs and habits are different. So having the teacher as somebody that can help, you know, you succeed is huge. So in school, it does matter to embrace students, you know, status, I guess, and their culture. Now the fourth one is provide students with clear guidance on what it takes to succeed. What is success? What does it look like, right? Maybe students don't know. Maybe they need to know more. The fifth one is build partnerships with parents based on shared interests. Well, the first shared interest is the child that you have in common. So why not build partnerships? I think that's huge. The next one at the bottom is align discipline practices to educational goals. Yeah, like how come you're not aligning what you do in the classroom with actual goals for learning? Like the disconnect is huge sometimes, right? Why are you doing certain things in the classroom that are not related to what they're supposed to be learning? So let's not do those things anymore and do what's expected for them to be doing, right? The next one is rethink remediation, focus on acceleration. That is just kind of debunking that negative approach, you know, that, oh, you know, you're failing. Let's remediate. No, let's help you get past this and move on, right? And then the next one is implement evidence-based practices and evaluate for effectiveness. Let's do what works. What's evidence-based, based on research. That makes more sense. The next one is build partnerships with community to address student needs. The community can bring so much, right? Money, knowledge, opportunities for, you know, work, for developing new skills, just so many things. And then the last one is teach the way students learn rather than expecting them to learn the way we teach. Now I'm just gonna leave that one just there. All right. Now we're gonna watch this TED Talk. It's about 11 minutes long. As you're watching this, I want you to think about how would you bring up a topic that is taboo in your classroom? You might be teaching second grade, you might be teaching fourth grade, maybe you teach high school, or maybe you're teaching preschoolers, but then there's something that you need to talk about that is taboo. The kids need to talk about those topics. How do you help them talk about those issues? How do you teach them to talk about those things in an appropriate way? So as you watch this video, I would like you to jot down a few ideas of things that she talks about. All right? Okay, so let's do this. I really like, let me stop that. I really like this TED Talk. It really talks about a lot of the things that I believe in, and I do think that students can really share and, you know, what they think, and they are ready to talk about the issues that they want to talk about. So why not? I would love to know what your thoughts are about teaching students about taboo topics. All right, so our book is going to be giving us the opportunity to analyze some case studies. So on page, I think this was the first part of the book. Let me see what page it was, in case you want to highlight it there. It was page 13 of our book, all right? Those are some steps that the author suggested that we take when we're reading this material. So step one, when we're reading the case studies, the author suggested that, or the authors suggested that we identify biases and inequities, the first thing that we need to be thinking about. So that's hard though, because sometimes we are biased and we don't know that there are biases there. But sometimes inequities we can figure out faster, right, than the biases. So we'll see how that goes. Step two, take stock of various perspectives. So thinking about the word perspectives is a great thing. Step three, consider possible challenges and opportunities there for that particular situation. So you can kind of draw on those challenges and opportunities to make suggestions and think outside the box. And then step four, imagine equitable and just outcomes. Step five, brainstorm immediate term solutions, then long-term solutions, and then create a plan or craft a plan of action. So as you read this book, think about how you would go about those situations if they were in your classroom or in your school, in your context. And you can use those those steps, you know, and analyze case by case in the same matter. That kind of helps us kind of go through the book in a, you know, in a systematic way. Now, this first part is going to be, they called it the literacy framework. So the equity literacy framework. So basically, it's kind of what I just said. So you're going to recognize those biases and inequities, then respond to them, then redress those biases, and then create a bias-free and equitable learning environment. So as you go through the book, I want you to be thinking about that. And I want you to look at page 12 to think about those cases, all right? Now, when you go to, this is the end of our slideshow, all right? So on Canvas, you're going to go to our class, Equity and Social Justice. Let me make sure that you can see my screen. Yes, you can. Right here, I'm going to add class number 2. I thought I had done that already. There is a, I already created the assignment for you. You're going to, let me add your file right there. I don't know why it's not there. I thought I had, there it is. Our little file is coming up. Here we go. Let me show you. You're going to have 3 tasks for your online assignment, okay, about equity and social justice. So the first assignment is going to be, you're gonna actually watch the read aloud, The Day the Crayons Quit. And I want you to make a connection with the classroom, okay? So here's your first task. It's an excellent story if you haven't read this book yet. How could you use that book to address issues of equity and social justice in education? How could you use that in your classroom? Then you're going to type your answers there. Task number 2, there is a video here. After watching that quick video, what are ways you could promote cultural diversity within your context of teaching? And the last one is about this book. That's what I wanted to make that connection with our PowerPoint, is reading pages 21, 22, and 23. It's the case study of the Chocolate Bar Fundraiser. So who hasn't done a chocolate bar fundraiser before, or seen or explored or had, you know, some sort of like fundraiser of sorts, right? I have, right? So it's going to talk about inequities there. So I want you to reflect on the case study. I want you to read it. I want you to reflect on it. And I want you to use page 12 to analyze that, the case study, and see what the inequities are and how you can, you know, maybe create maybe a solution. How would you go about that? And if that happened to you, what would be the right thing to do? All right. So thank you for watching the class. I look forward to talking to you guys. And please email me and let me know if there's anything I can do for you this week. Have a wonderful week. And bye-bye.